And welcome to Live at SMT Connect on Wednesday afternoon here in Nuremberg, Germany. Thank you for joining us. My first guest today is Ralph Birnbaum from IoTech. Welcome, Ralph. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, you released at Productronica last year, I think one of the most fascinating technologies I've seen for a long time. The system basically is a combination. It could be a dispenser or a jetter, but basically it puts down materials in specific amounts very, very accurately and very fast. Explain to our viewers a little bit about how it works.
Yes, thank you, Trevor. So in fact, the people at Productronica also thought it was good because they gave us the first prize, the Innovation Award for PCBA and EMS.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. It's a technology that has the throughput of the screen printers, but there's no mask. So you don't need to prepare a mask. And it has the flexibility and the accuracy of jetters and dispensers, but there's no nozzle. So nothing to get clogged. It's a completely non-contact deposition solution based on lasers.
Right. Okay. And what sort of materials do you put down? I mean, you've got a range that you can work with.
Yeah. So the fact that it's non-contact with no nozzles or anything like that allows us to go up to very high viscosities. Mm-hmm. So if an inkjet, for example, will go up to about 100 centipoise, we're talking about materials that can go up to 500,000 centipoise.
Wow.
Just to give you an idea of what that means, peanut butter is 250,000, twice the thickness of peanut butter. That's how big. And that allows us to print existing materials that don't require any kind of modification for our technology. Right. So if the material is being used today and it's been certified, we can use it too, as long as it's something that you can paste or something that's flowable.
So the example that we saw, both in the video you have on your website and also from talking to you at Productronica, was that you were doing PCBs. You were literally putting down all the materials, the copper layer, the solder mask, and then depositing the solder bumps on top of that.
Yeah.
So that's quite an achievement, and doing it at the speed of a stencil printer.
Yes.
Which is quite amazing. Can you do multi-layer PCBs, and what sort of parameters are you at the moment?
Okay, so anywhere along the electronic supply chain where one material is being deposited on another, etched, printed, sprayed, or whatever, we have a solution. But because there are so many different applications, we need to focus our efforts for each application, develop the process, and so on. We are currently focusing in the SMT world on depositing solder paste.
Yeah.
We're also working on some other applications such as die attach and underfill. Specifically for PCB, we're still developing the process, and we haven't fully developed it yet. We can already print single layers or even double layers, both the copper traces as well as the solder mask and legend and the surface finishing, but we're not yet there when it comes to multi-layer PCBs. Right. That's something we're still working on.
Right. Now, Ralph, your company IoTech is, of course, a startup company.
It still is, yes.
But you have attracted already two very, very significant investors in ASM Assembly Systems, which I believe own about 30% of the company, and Henkel, which I think are 10% investors. Is that correct?
Actually, I don't know what the percentages are.
You don't know the percentages, okay. Irrespective, I mean, but both companies are viewing your technology from a different angle.
Correct.
So if we can say ASM, for example, I mean, we don't want to give away too much, but they've already mentioned publicly that they're looking to change the face of material deposition at the printing process. Can you elaborate on that even just very slightly?
Well, ASMPT, as you mentioned, saw the potential in our technology because we can compete with their throughputs, but we're offering also the flexibility and the accuracy because we can control each individual drop of solder paste. We can print multiple solder pastes in the same run, or maybe solder paste and an epoxy when required. So this was very interesting to ASMPT, and they invested in order to be able to work together with us. There is a potential for maybe to OEM our solution, but we're still discussing that with them.
Right.
They have acquired one of our machines as well. So in addition to being an investor, they're also a customer. And they've installed our machine at their plant in the UK.
Right.
A former DEC plant.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Um, and is that technology? It's using like a carrier tape or something to.
Yes. So I'll give you a quick overview of how it works. So you deposit a flowable material onto a thin, transparent foil. It then goes through two cylindrical rolls to guarantee perfect uniform thickness. It's carried underneath the laser. The laser gives it a very brief, powerful punch, which creates a vapor bubble, pushing a drop of the material onto the substrate below. So the material itself isn't so affected by the laser. So there's no reheating. It doesn't work through melting or anything like that. Material properties remain exactly the same when they hit the substrate.
Right.
And this allows us also to control each individual drop at extremely high speeds. In fact, when I need to present it to customers, I need to slow it down 8 times, otherwise you don't see anything. It's just so fast.
That's incredible. And what about you, your other partner, Henkel? What is their approach?
So they love it that we don't require them to make any changes to the material. Give us a material that is flowable, and we'll print it from them. So they are constantly challenging us with their most complex materials, including two-component adhesives.
Right.
Don't try putting that through a nozzle; it'll get clogged. Because it's non-contact, it's something that we can print.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, it's extremely exciting technology, and I look forward to seeing the first prototypes coming out of something tangible.
So we're working with about 24 industry players at the moment, including back-end semiconductor players in SMT as well.
Right.
And we've already sold a few machines. There's a third machine. So Henkel bought a second machine. A third machine is going to a European semiconductor manufacturer who wants to use it for back end.
Right.
And we're already close to selling a few more machines this year.
Wow.
And we'll scale up for production machines next year in 2023.
Wonderful. Well, watch this space. It's certainly
Yes.
an exciting time for you. So congratulations and thank you for coming in and telling us about it today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Electronics are part of our world, expanding by application to open up new opportunities for automotive, healthcare, and many other industries. But today's manufacturing techniques are not sustainable. They are energy hungry and inefficient, expensive, and have limited flexibility. The world is asking us to do better. Introducing Pulse Forge tools, a new approach to thermal processes like soldering and curing. Design with more flexibility, manufacture with fewer process steps, reduce energy use, and decarbonize the supply chain. Expand your creativity to new levels. Designers are asking for more. They need to reduce form factors, reduce weight to work on wearables and stretchables, opening new market opportunities for consumers across the world, asking us to do better. If you think sustainability and freedom of design are not possible in electronics manufacturing, think again. Think Pulse Forge.
Ko-Young is leading a smart revolution that will change the world of electronics manufacturing. Based on our pioneering True 3D measurement-based inspection technology, we revolutionize the solder paste inspection market to such great lengths that 1 in 2 SPIs sold today is from Ko-Young. Building our SPI technology, we expanded to automated optical inspection, also known as AOI. Every year, we introduce new award-winning innovations and have proudly earned the respect from thousands of customers across diverse industries. Aside from our R&D center in Korea, we have research facilities focused on artificial intelligence and deep learning across the world to help us further develop proprietary AI technologies for your challenges. With our global network of sales and service centers, we aim to respond quickly to your needs and to deliver the highest level of customer satisfaction.
In an EMS world full of supply chain challenges, pandemics, and shifting deadlines, Global SMT TV works around the clock to keep you up to date with the latest process technologies, standards, and breaking industry news to keep you at the top of your game. Global SMT TV, bringing you one step closer to your goals.
At Kaizen, we know it's the science that makes the difference. The right solutions happen when you care enough to ask the right questions. And we understand that your performance is directly related to ours. Science knows why it works, care knows why it's important.
Electronics are part of our world, expanding by application to open up new opportunities for automotive, healthcare, and many other industries. But today's manufacturing techniques are not sustainable. They are energy hungry and inefficient, expensive, and have limited flexibility. The world is asking us to do better. Introducing Pulse Forge tools, a new approach to thermal processes like soldering and curing. Design with more flexibility, manufacture with fewer process steps, reduce energy use, and decarbonize the supply chain. Expand your creativity to new levels. Designers are asking for more. They need to reduce form factors, reduce weight to work on wearables and stretchables, opening new market opportunities for consumers across the world, asking us to do better. If you think sustainability and freedom of design are not possible in electronics manufacturing, think again. Think Pulse Forge.